Education without execution leads to nothing more than delusion. And nothing works for someone that doesn't do the work. Hey guys, welcome back to In the Works, the podcast. I am your host, Lara Francesca, and I am so glad you're here today. I hope you're having an amazing week so far. Today we are in a little bit of a different setting as life has get a little bit busy, but I still didn't want to leave this project aside. Today we're gonna be talking about consistency and the power of delayed gratification. So we are not waiting anymore. We are not just learning about change, we are living through it, and we are not hoping the dream will land in our lap. We are becoming the person that's already holding it. This episode is a reminder that the life that you want is not built on hype, is not built in vibes. It is built on your daily habits, in your consistency, and in your ability to show up every day. It is built in that delayed gratification and the self-respect that comes from it, from you showing up every day. This episode is a reminder that the life that you want is not built on hype or on vibes, but it's built through your daily habits, through your consistency, and through your ability to show up even when nobody is watching. I believe that we are all born with the same flame and magic inside us, like that inner fire and that quiet voice that says, I want more and I know I am capable of much more. But somewhere along the way, the world kind of like dim that light. We are told to be realistic when we have crazy dreams that we want to achieve. We compare, we scroll, and we start to believe that lie that says, if it's not happening fast, it's not meant to be. Or if it's not happening fast, why is it even worth trying? And that's where most people stop. Not from failure, but from the delay, from not trusting that all these daily actions compound and in the long term you can achieve greatness. Because the timeline, yeah, it will look a little bit long because the reward can feel a little bit far away. And as I said, the mind will say, why even bother? Consistency is the DNA of mastery. And I want you to say this with me, to really feel it, because it's the only thing that will lead you to be a master in anything that you want to do. Consistency is the DNA of mastery. You don't need to be the smartest, you don't need to be the fastest, you just need to keep showing up day in and day out. When you keep the promises that you make to yourself, especially those quiet ones, you grow something most people spend their lives reaching for. That is self-respect. It's not a number in your bank account, it's not a body type, and it's not how many followers you have in social media. It's being able to wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, I am proud and feel proud of the person that you are. It is that pride in I know I didn't give up on myself, and even through the hard days I still choosing to show up, and I'm so proud of that. That's a currency that money can't buy, and when you start having this self-respect, all the rest comes with so much ease. Mainly because you start believing that you're capable of achieving your dreams. You start trusting yourself as a person that shows up for what they say they will do. And most importantly, you start achieving your dreams when you are putting in the work. So I want to talk a little bit of how consistency looks like for me. If you have listened to some others of my episodes, you may know that I am a full-time nursing student. I have a job. I'm also building this podcast and this business, and I'm also training like an elite athlete. And not gonna lie, it's not like every day is super easy, but the only thing that keeps me going and keep myself being accountable with my goals is the consistency to show up in all those areas of my life, day in and day out. Some days it will look like 2 hours of work in certain task, but some days I will be so busy that I will just have 30 minutes to go do my training, and that will do as well. For me, consistency looks like studying even after a day at work when I might not feel like it because I might be a little bit tired, showing up to train even when I will rather sit down and scroll in my phone, eating clean even with this busy schedule that I have, and when sometimes it's much easier and quick to grab food outside than doing my meal prep, or even recording this podcast when my mind is telling me, do you even have something valuable to say? None of these things are fun in the moment, but I keep coming back to this question. Will the future Lau be proud of this? Will my version that have already completed her degree, the version of me that is an elite athlete, the version of me that have financial freedom because she have put in the work day in and day out to invest and learn how to invest and save money and be responsible instead of choosing the instant gratification of spending that money now. But I keep coming back to this question, and is, will the future Lau be proud of me? Will my dream version be proud of me and the work that I'm putting day in and day out right now? And will she look back and say, thank you for not quitting. Thank you for putting in the work to follow through all the goals that you want to achieve, because we are here in the other side. I love to visualize this. I love to close my eyes and fully imagine how does that dream life of my future version of me is like. How do I act? How do I show up to every area of my life? What do I do when I wake up already with that dream life? Am I choosing to meditate, having a slow morning, having the privilege to have a coffee and just see the sunrise through my balcony? Do I have the privilege to squeeze a workout in the morning and nourish myself? How does she live that life? Am I stressed about all the things that I have to do, or am I, what a privilege it is to be busy and having all these projects going on? How exciting it is that I know I am achieving my highest potential, but also I have more to go for. So now that we have talked about the power of consistency, I want to share also some tools that help me stay sharp, especially with my busy schedule. So one of the most helpful things I have done is build this system of rewards, and it's just not random treats. It's much more like earned rewards based on delayed gratification. For example, if I train a week and I follow through all my meals, and let's say I was like really disciplined with my training plan, I will treat myself to a nice relaxing massage on Sunday. This because it brings me joy, it makes me feel so calm and just fully resets my nervous system, and generally it's something that, at least for me, is really enjoyable. As I said before, if I eat clean 80% of the week, I will let myself have like a indulgent meal that I really crave the whole week, and after following through, I will just let myself have it. And also, like sometimes when you train your brain to not be constantly stimulated by instant gratification, all these things feel much more joyful, I will say. It feels like, oh my god, like what a privilege it is to be having this relaxing massage, what a privilege it is to be having this amazing meal, to share time with my partner. It's just like kind of like makes you appreciate the moment more, if that makes sense. And it's really beautiful. So let's say if also I set myself to study 2 hours a day, and I have the ability to go and get me a coffee or a nice matcha, I will do it as a little reward for studying 2 hours. That is something that sometimes I don't like to do as much, to be really honest. Not because I don't like my career, but because I do so many things, my brain sometimes can feel really tired. So having like those little rewards can kind of like help you keep the momentum going and also keep yourself motivated because you're earning something out of that. So, as I said before, what I have realized is that the more you give your brain instant gratification, the lazier it becomes. It gets addicted to dopamine and it stops tolerating discomfort. But when you hold off the reward until the work is done, you train your brain to be resilient, you make it stronger, and you build grit. Also, another tool that helps me a lot to keep my brain sharp and focused is this app that you download in your phone. It is called Refocus. And what it mainly does is that it logs my socials, everything, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, all my socials, and the only things that I have access to is mainly Safari and my calls. Even it blocks the like websites online where you go to like buy clothes and do like online shopping, because that can be a form of scrolling sometimes as well. Even it blocks that. So it's really good for me to just, if I know I need to do something, if I have, let's say, a little break in uni, I will go and maybe read 10 pages of my book, or maybe I will try to go through an assessment, or maybe get back to that email that I haven't answered just yet, instead of scrolling, because I know once I come back to my lecture, it will be easier for my brain to fully focus on what the teacher needs to say. If I have a break and I just go scroll, fill myself with a lot of coffee and just have like that instant dopamine gratification, will just like keep me really high for 15 minutes, and then it will just crash me down. Motivation is gone. I don't want to be in class anymore. And then my brain is just a little bit like messing around and procrastinating. Also, some little things that I do and personally they help me is like in the morning, while I'm doing my coffee, I will unload the dishwasher, and then just after it is unloaded, I will drink my coffee. I will set myself to just scroll or maybe check my socials, because sometimes, of course, I want to see what are my friends up to, get back to my friends, get back to my messages. But just at the end of the day, when I have already completed and achieved all my goals for the day, and I will take maybe 20 minutes to check on that, call my mom, and do all these other things that obviously keep building my relationships, but just after I completed all my tasks in the day. The more you start doing these like little things and you start putting these little boundaries with yourself, the more easier it becomes. They all may seem small, but if you think in the long term, they train your brain to trust the delayed gratification every single day. And the more you do it, as I said, the more resilient you become, trusting the process, trusting that things that are valuable and they will stay alive over the long term take a little bit of long time to build and get there as well. And here's the other reward that consistency gives you, and is that connection with your inner genius, and that connection with your higher self, and that connection with the version of you that knows that she can do anything she put her mind into. It helps you connect with that magic you were born with, the clarity that only comes when you follow through enough to see the results of the task that you're doing. You stop self sabotaging, you stop overthinking, and you start trusting yourself again. And that's when you unlock that enlightenment. Is that aha moment where you have been putting in the work for 3 or 4 months every single day, and it's that aha moment where you're like, oh my god, I feel more strong because I have been putting in the work of going to the gym. I feel like my skin is more clean and my body feels more energized because I have been eating really clean and with the purpose of nourishing myself and nourishing my body. Is that aha moment where life feels way more easy, but it is not like it necessarily became easier. It is like you have get stronger, more intelligent, more resilient, and with way more grit. And to be realistic, it is not like you're gonna love every single thing that you're doing, even if it's part of your purpose. There will be days where, to be honest, it will still feel like boring, repetitive, or even frustrating sometimes. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's grown. It means that you're human. So stop waiting for inspiration and stop waiting for the magic to come out of nowhere. It is not supposed to be easy, but it is supposed to stretch you. It is supposed to make you become your very best version of yourself. It is meant to shape you and to shift you slowly and kind of like build that building brick by brick, one small action at a time. It is supposed to show you how much potential you have inside you, even when you are unsure or even when you feel lonely. To finish up this episode, I want to remind you that it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to change your whole entire life in 3 days. You just need to start somewhere and start doing one small action a day that is getting you closer to your goals. I want you to be the most consistent and persistent person that you know, not the most motivated, not the most gifted, and just the one that keeps showing up no matter the circumstances and no matter what life throws at you. That's how you build the trust, that's how you build the peace, and that's how you become your better, best version. I love to say it, but I also hate to say it. You need to put in the work to make things work. I cannot express this enough. A book that I just finished that is called The Deep Magic of Daily Consistency by Robin Sharma completely helped me to shift this idea inside me, and it mainly talks about the power of consistency and the delayed gratification. It is good if you want to start and get like a full rundown through how it looks like, how the very best and most successful people in the world have achieved their greatness. And also it reminds you of all the greatness that is out there. It is also inside us, and we are as capable as any other human being of achieving whatever we put our mind and heart into. Your challenge for today will be pick one task that you have been avoiding and put at least 20 minutes of work towards it with no distractions, and then reward yourself for it. just a little reward. Maybe go for a walk, grab a coffee, or have a little moment of silence with yourself. And say to yourself, I showed up and I am proud of me. I want you to trust the process of becoming and see this part of life as is the part where you're learning the most. I know we all want this dream life and we have all these like really big goals, but when we reach that part, that point, how cool would it be to look back and be like, I enjoy all the process. I enjoy the highs, I enjoy the lows. I put in the work of getting here. And I deserve this. I deserve all this greatness. I trust myself every day, day in and day out. When life didn't went my way, or even when I started this new thing and life keep throwing me setbacks, how cool would it be to be like, when life threw me setbacks before, I just sit still, choose to reflect on them and try to understand what is this trying to show me, what is this experience trying to shape me into, and see all that as grow and as part of the process. Maybe that's the learning that you need to become that successful business owner. Maybe that's the experience that you need to have to finally connect with a person and connect with your soulmate and be your very best version in that relationship. Maybe is that like breaking point that you always need to become someone new, to reshape your personality, to rethink about how are you driving your life into until this point, and which are those areas where I could be doing more. Which ones are those areas where I am just doing enough? I want you to also believe in yourself, and once you start doing the work, let's say also you have been going through maybe an episode of depression or anxiety. Even with this is a process of delayed gratification, going to therapy, choosing to do your journal every day, choosing to do your meditations and do things, staying more present to kind of like enjoy the moment to the fullest. Sometimes might feel lame, but after you have put in the work for a few months, you get to that moment where you finally feel in peace, when you finally feel like your shoulders are not heavy anymore and you're finally healing. Trust me, it always gets better, but we also need to put in the work to make it better and level up our lives. I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for choosing yourself today and listening to this. Thank you for doing the work quietly, consistently, and intentionally. Remember that you have gifts and talents inside of you, and the dreams that are placed on your heart are there for a reason. I hope you honor them. I hope you bring them to life step by step, day by day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I pray and wish you wake up with peace and enough clarity to follow through your action plan to achieve your dreams. I pray you create with purpose. I wish you powerful productivity, deep creativity, and unshakable health. I wish you sacred and peaceful moments with the people you love. And I hope you never forget that consistency is a prayer to the universe and a signal that says, I'm ready to receive everything I have been working for. You are in the works and this new reality is already happening. Until next time, keep going, keep becoming and keep rising. Don't let your greatness be in the back of your mind forever. Don't let those dreams just sit in the back of your mind forever. And stop auto-sabotaging yourself. You know you have the magic, you know you have what it takes, and you know you have the power to become your very best version. So please, please, please choose to believe in yourself today, and please trust that you can change your life at any moment, at any time, through daily consistent action. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. With so much love and light, love.